Hello, hello, friends, and welcome to the 10-Minute Book Talk. We have a special treat for you today because we are having so much fun at the moment. We're going to share with you some of the books we are reading, and we were
And
just
reading and loving.
That's like reading and loving, but we were just talking. A lot of these books haven't come out yet, so we're giving you a little bit of a teaser, and we're hoping you'll write it down, put it on your shelf, or not your shelf, put it on your list, so someday it'll be on your shelf. Okay, it's a terrible cover because it's not the cover, but this is The Girls of the Glimmer Factory by Jennifer Coburn, and
Oh,
it is fantastic. Number one, her research is unbelievable, but her research never eclipses the story. The story is primary. And this is about two women. One, I want to say young girl, but she's like 18. She's not 13. Jewish girl, and then the other, Hannah, is a devotee of the Nazi system, and both are involved in the Glimmer Factory. And the Glimmer Factory was Hitler's propaganda factory to make the, quote, spa town of, Theresienstadt.
I've never heard of this before.
So
What?
it was a spa town. That's what he said it was. But believe me, he did not give a spa town to the Jewish community. But that was his propaganda machine to show how fabulous he was. And this is a really behind the scenes look at that town and what was going on in World War II at that time. So fantastic book. It will not come out until January 25th, 2025, but put it on your radar. It is that good. The next one I'm reading and thoroughly loving is by, and I hope I'm saying this correctly, Shara Moon. And it is the true story, fictionalized, of Lizzie McGuire. Lizzie McGuire started as a maid in FDR's White House, and she became his unofficial secretary and a huge movement or huge person in the movement towards civil rights. So a really amazing story. This one will not launch until February 4th, 2025. And I've just begun it. I think the writing is amazing. And I'm going to say put that on your radar too. So there you go.
And
Two
it's called
books.
Let Us
It
March
is
On.
called Let Us March On. And it is
Okay.
based on a true person, Lizzie McGuire. Whereas Glimmers, the Girls of the Glimmer Factory is absolutely based on a true factory and a true propaganda campaign.
The Girls of the Glimmer Factory, that's Jennifer Coburn, who did
Jennifer Coburn.
Cradles of the Reich.
Yep. Yes, Cradles of the Reich.
Yeah, man, that was
I read Girls of the Glimmer Factory too, and I thought it was really a profound book.
Profound book.
She writes
Yes.
a really meaty book. So interesting.
She's a terrific writer. She really
All right. Well, you've got kind of the heavy hitting.
I do. Fantastic heavy hitting.
I've been reading a little bit lighter this summer, which I've really been enjoying. So this book is everywhere. Abby Jimenez new Just for the Summer, but I loved it enough that we actually bumped in my book club. We bumped the last book because I was like, guys, I loved this so much. What if we read this one? So we didn't read what was scheduled and we read this one instead, and we all enjoyed it. Abby Jimenez has traditionally done very, very popular rom-coms with a lot of sizzle. And this one is a departure. There's a lot less sizzle. It's like safe for my mom to read right now. She's reading my copy, and it ventures a little bit more into like book club or women's fiction territory, which I really enjoy because that's what I'm writing. And it is about Justin and Emma, who are two young professionals who both believe they have a curse, that they are the person that people date, break up with, and find their forever love. So they believe that if they date each other, it's going to break the curse and they'll both find their forever love next, except, complications ensue. So it's a very, very fun premise, extremely loving, relatable characters, fun setting, up in Minnesota, and there's like an island and a lake and a cabin, and but also it's about trauma, and it's about how trauma, there's some deeper themes to it. It's about how trauma interrupts our ability to connect and how trauma influences how we can connect and love and trust others. So I loved it. I thought it was just the perfect summer read. So Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. I'll hold up. It's never good on a phone, but there you go. And then am blurbing a delightful, delightful book. So we've had Kim Fay on. She did the indie next pick and bestseller, Love and Saffron. And so she asked if I would blurb her next book, which I was overjoyed to do it, and I am eating it up. It is called Kate and Frida, and it will come out next March, I believe. So it's a little ways away, but you can put it on your list and wait for it. Kim Fay. It is about Kate, it takes place in 1991, so pre-internet days. And it is about Kate, who's a bookseller in Seattle at the Puget Sound Book Company, which I believe became the Elliott Bay Book Company. And then Frida, who is a young woman living in Paris. She's an American who's moved to Paris, and she wants to become a war correspondent. And they start a letter correspondence. So the whole book is in letters, which makes it just easy, breezy, quick, delightful, really like you feel like you're there, all your senses. And it's about food, it's about books, and it's about sort of these young women on the cusp of finding their place in life as a writer, as a war correspondent. And then there's Paris, and there's just delicious food. And then they're sending books to one another and discussing how it's influencing their outlook on life. Totally love it. Just thoroughly delightful. So, Kate and Frida, I'm halfway through and just thoroughly enjoying it. So I would recommend that as well. Those are my recommendations for the summer.
Good ones. Very good ones. Well, I've only got one, but man, what a book it is. And so funny, we've all read this, it turns out. I loved this book so much.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I needed right now. It's got, it's about the starlets. Okay. So it's set in the 1950s, and there are these two women who are both in the movies, very different personalities, but very ambitious, very lovely. And like one of them is particularly kind of jealous of the other. They're just so much fun. And they hate each other. Well, one hates one more than the other, but they sort of hate each other. And they're on this movie set, and they're very much in competition. But then guess what? Dead bodies start showing up.
Exactly. It goes bam.
I was like, what? There's a dead body? And because of this, the two of them have absolutely no choice but to band together to try and figure out what's going on to save not only themselves, but the entire cast is now in danger. This was a romp across Europe. It was like the best buddy movie, except buddy movies are always guys, but this one is two women. They're fabulous characters. It moves along. There were moments when, because life was happening, I had to put it down. I could not wait to get back to it every time I did. It made me laugh out loud. It kept me guessing. It really had, it was kind of perfection in a lot of ways, in a genre that I don't usually read. I wrote the two authors, by the way, there's Lee Kelly and Jennifer Thorne. I hope they'll be on the show when the book comes out in November.
And their last one was amazing and such a caper as well.
Yes,
They just
I know. It's so fun.
Right? I love a caper. It's so much. This is so different, and the setting was so perfect. Yeah. They just did it was kind of pitch perfect on every point. I couldn't find anything to criticize. And as you all know, I'm kind of mean and nasty.
But that's amazing to see.
Put that on your to read list come November, right?
That's no. Do better than that. No, we're pretty close. Don't put it on your to read list. Order it now. Just pre-order.
Oh, right. I forgot we can do that.
Pre-order it. Lee Kelly and Jennifer Thorne will thank you. Maybe they'll be so happy with us. They'll
be so happy.
Books. So really consider our needs. Go and order these ladies' books. It's great. It's great. Such a delight. So that's all I've got right now. I've been reading a lot of books. But they've mostly been for the show. So I've talked about all of them. But
we have loved these books. There's so many more books to come this fall, but this is a little insight into what we're reading, what we're loving, and we hope you are doing well and the summer's treating you well. And we will see you next week with another author chat.
And post a comment below to tell us what you're reading, loving this summer, because sometimes, the best recommendations are word of mouth recommendations from other readers who are like, I couldn't put this book down. And that's how you discover these wonderful books. So post a comment below. Tell us what you're reading and loving, because we would love to know. All right.
Yeah.
And
please do.
For more 10-minute book talk fun. Bye.
Bye-bye.